Radio check, this is NX8J.
I heard you're fine, Dale, N8PW.
Thank you, sir. Good evening. This begins the, what month is this? This is the June meeting of the Canton Amateur Radio Club. We begin at 7:30. Not being able to attend at the EOC, we're doing this over the air. We're going to start with Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll do a modified check-in. Alexa, say Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There you go. Okay, at this point we would do the welcome members. What I'm going to do is read off a list of everybody who has ever checked into this net, sorted alphabetically by call sign. If you're there, just say, hey. Bravo 8, Romeo Zulu, Tom. Alpha Charlie 8, Romeo Hotel, Gene. Kilowatt 3, Charlie Alpha Kilowatt, Brian. Eight, Alpha Golf Bravo, Denny.
NX8J and all the members of the Canton and friends of the Canton Amateur Radio Club. This is K8AGB.
Dennis, Kilowatt 8, India Sierra, Sierra, John.
K8ISS present.
Kilowatt 8, Papa India November, Dirk. Nine, Alpha Lima Alpha, Alan. Alpha 8, Mike November, Tango, Tom.
K8MNT, we are present.
Thank you, Tom. Kilowatt Bravo 8, Papa Romeo Kilowatt, Ted.
Here, all here, Del. K8PRK.
Ted, get that membership app in, old man. Kilowatt Charlie 8, Delta Mike, Quebec, Ed. Charlie 8, Uniform, Delta Victor, Sean. Some of these might be web or Zoom or some other check-in. Justin, I'll let you update me at the end. Kilowatt Charlie, who did that? Kilowatt Charlie 8, Zulu Whiskey Papa, Doc. Delta 8, Bravo Romeo Papa, Amy. Delta 8, Romeo Delta Yankee, Doug. Kilo Echo 8, India Delta Hotel, Evan. Echo 8, India Echo Kilo, Jim. Echo 8, Kilowatt Zulu Juliet, Joe. Kilowatt Echo 8, November Golf Zulu, Doug. Kilowatt Fox 8, Uniform November, Byron. Golf 8, Romeo Yankee, Gary. Robot India 4, Romeo Hotel Uniform, Doug. Number 2, Easy Zulu Foxtrot, Matthew. Number 8, Long-Term Relationship, Bill.
This is N8PW. Good evening, all. Go ahead, Dale.
November 8, Papa Whiskey, Bill. Thanks, Bill. Gotcha. November 8, Victor X-Ray, Quebec, Perry.
PHQ.
November 8, Yankee Bravo, Jerry.
This is NEYB. Good evening.
You got myself. Whiskey 8, Echo, Quebec, Victor, Bill. Whiskey 8, Juliet, Kilo, Charlie, Justin.
Good evening, everyone. WJKC.
Whiskey 8, Victor Echo, Roger.
Good evening. This is W8AL.
Whiskey Alpha 8, non-directional beacon, Harold. The other half, Whiskey Alpha 8, November Delta Charlie, Alice. Delta 8, Alpha Yankee Charlie, Rick. Delta 8, Alpha Yankee Echo, Dave. More to go. Whiskey Delta 8, India, Papa Echo, Herb. Last, Whiskey Delta 8, Management by Objective, Fred.
Here, good evening, everyone.
Fred, good signal. Okay, Justin, any web check-ins tonight to report?
Just one tonight. WG8IPE, Herb. This is WJKC.
Okay, looking for any call signs that were not on my roster. Go ahead and call November X-Ray 8 Juliet.
This is KEHOPT, Kilo Echo 8, Oscar Papa Tango. Linda.
Kilo Echo 8, Oscar Papa Tango. That's a new one. I believe I heard Linda, Lima, India, November, Delta, Alpha, QSL.
QSL.
Alrighty. Sorry if I'm running this like an HF net. That's just me. If anyone doesn't like it, tell me and I'll try and change. Okay, we got our attendance list is in. Welcome everybody for checking in tonight. Beautiful day outside. Glad you chose to spend a little time on the radio here at our club meeting. At this time, we would have the treasurer's report break. What we've done under these circumstances is take a motion to defer that report to the next face-to-face, and then a second, and then we'll do a quickie vote. Do I have a motion?
This is K8AGB. Yes, you have that motion as stated. Over.
Dennis, need a second.
N8PW.
Thank you, Bill. Okay. I will assume silence will be taken as consent. If there are any dissensions to deferring the treasurer's report, call W8AL or NXHA now. Passed. We'll do the report on the next face-to-face. Brings us up to the Secretary's report, distributed electronically. Again, we don't have anything before us to look at. I think the report is basically a recording of the proceedings here, if I'm not mistaken. I guess we will entertain a motion to defer the the Secretary's report until the next face-to-face meeting. Need someone to make that motion.
I move that we defer the Secretary's report till our next face-to-face. This is CAA8MNT.
Thank you, Tom. Would somebody like to second?
K8AGB will second Tom's motion.
Very well, Dennis. Same as before, silence will be taken as a consent or affirmative vote. Are there any dissensions or any discussion on deferring the Secretary's report until the next face-to-face meeting? Call W8AL now, please. Okay, motion passed. Brings us up to correspondence. Let's see, we have not one but two entities have contacted me this week, either via the club or directly, about disposal of some ham gear. One of those was a gentleman in he's in Perry. He has a lot of gear. Actually, he's in Maslin, I'm sorry. He has a lot of gear from an SK Buddy break. Pretty good looking Yaesu HF rig and some other stuff that has been posted on the Facebook site for W8AL, a picture of every major item. And the way we're doing that, it is not a donation to the club. It's just, the club is just doing this as a courtesy, basically helping him dispose of some assets that he's come into. If at the end of the journey he has any assets left over, he mentioned a donation to the club. That's one of them, Greg. Also had a contact through the club, through Justin, gave it to me. Another SK who has not as much, but he's got a few good pieces of gear, and they're looking for a donation. Now, the former ham was big in BSA. He was a scoutmaster, and I was talking with his widow, emailing with his widow, and discussing some of her options, one of which was to donate to the Boy Scout organization directly and get a tax receipt break. The other option was to donate to Canton Club and also get a tax receipt, and then Canton Club would use that gear in its outreach programs. And I told her it would be used to benefit youth and other members. Very unlikely it would be sold. So the owner of the equipment has those two choices. That's where it stands right now. Decision has not been made. Okay, any other correspondence to bring before the club tonight? We're moving right along. Old business. Well, field day is certainly in there, but we're going to be talking about that at the end. So right now we will bring up any old business that is before the club. Anyone having old business, please call W8AL. Hearing nothing, pause briefly for any late check-ins, any late-comers to the party here who have not previously responded to the roll call. or checked in otherwise, please call W8AL. Okay, hearing nothing takes us up to new business. Looking for any new business that anyone would like to bring up? I will say that Stark EMA was contacted about the possibility of having tonight's meeting back at the EMA. This was about a week ago, and the answer was not yet, not ready yet. Apparently, they're still got that area reconfigured for the pandemic, and for whatever reason, we are going to be doing our meetings over the air for the foreseeable future. Any other new business for the club, please call W8AL. Okay, well, I have a little bit of new business. This goes back to Linda, Kilowatt Echo 8, Oscar Papa Tango. I don't have you on here. It sounds like you might be a new amateur. Linda, if you're able and if it's okay, if you could introduce yourself to the club and just describe how long you've had your license, maybe. Go ahead, Linda.
Hi, this is Linda, KE8OPT. Yes, I am Tom's other half. I did get my tech license when they had it at Sharon Center. I've been around the guys and listened to you many times on the radio, and I'm here now again. KE8OPT.
Very well, Linda. Welcome to the group. It's a little different dynamics meeting over the air like this. Can't wait till we're back in a face-to-face mode. We encourage you to come to the meetings along with Tom. It'll be an interesting night. Any other new business for the club, please call W8AL. Doing nothing takes us up to repeater status. Well, we've been using this thing weekly now, and it's worked pretty good. I haven't had to touch it myself. Don't know if anyone else has had to manage it. Are there any comments, pro or con, about the club's repeater? Go ahead.
Coverage up here in Akron there, Dell. EB8PRK.
Thanks, Ted. Ted, could you give us a little info? What's your physical location, what city, and whether you're up on a hill or down in a holler, whether you're using a handheld or a mobile or whatever. Go ahead.
Well, I'm up here, Springfield Township, north of Uniontown. Pretty close to the intersection of Canton Road and 224. Probably within a straight line as the RF flies, probably a half a mile of that intersection. I'm not exactly on a hill, and I got some hills that are a little higher than me, actually in the direction of Canton. So I got a little hurdle here to clear. Right now I'm only running 10 watts, so I don't know how I'm getting into the repeater. I'm on a Yaesu 2900 base station here, and I've got a collinear 2-meter antenna mounted on about a 15-foot mast outside, and that's about it.
But It's very intelligible, Ted. You know, just a teensy bit of popping in the background, but you're getting it very well. Perfect readability there. Okay, that brings us up to youth outreach status. Break. Okay, our big plans for summer camp have went up in smoke. Summer camp is canceled. There will be nothing. Now, there may still be work out there on the shack. Preparing for the 2021 season. We still have, as far as I know, we still have the October JOTA event at Camp Tuscasore. Not so sure we're going to publicize trying to do 100 radio merit badges all in one weekend. That was an ambitious goal. The question is, A, are there going to be 100 people to give the radio merit badge to? B, will that cause people to have to congregate? Not really a good idea. But at this point, we do intend to do the Jamboree on the Air activity down there and give the merit badge to as many people as we can. That event is still on. That, again, is Camp Tuscasore, third weekend in October. Any other comments about the club's youth outreach status? Please call W8AL. Okay, we're moving right along. That takes us up to open mic. Anyone can say anything they would like. We'll give you the floor. Keep it family friendly and within the confines of good amateur behavior. And after that, can't do the 50-50 over the air. We will morph into a program discussion, which is pretty much tying up the loose ends for field day and then getting that thing ready. So it's open mic time. Anyone with any traffic for the net, please call W8AL. Sorry, please call break. I'll get your name on a little short list, and then we'll go over those people and let them have the floor. So anyone with traffic, just give me a call sign. Go.
KG8RRY.
One will be KG8RRY. Go ahead.
Quickly, I recently passed a couple of courses through ARRL, and one of them was in public relations. And I've been putting together some stories and pictures, if you will, just pictures with some verbiage, such as the ham radio is for families, that type of thing. I think that there is an overall public image of ham radio as being a bunch of old guys like me. And really, there are kids and families involved in the hobby. And so I'd like to encourage you, whenever you see one of these that I've created and posted about the fact that ham radio is for families and for kids and whatnot, it doesn't do any good to post that stuff, Greg. Send it to each other because we're already involved in the hobby. But the idea should be to go ahead and to take those slides or those posts, if you will, and put them on your own pages and spread them around, because you've got folks that you're friends with that will see that. And if we all operate in a PR mode, we can change the overall opinion, I believe, on ham radio from an exclusive club to a family event. And that's all I have for today. KG8RRY.
Well, thank you, Gary, for those comments. I'll add my 2 bits here. That is good advice. Present a good image. If you're trying to recruit people to an activity, you have to a little bit of spit and polish and presenting everything in a positive light, which you don't have to work hard to present it in a positive light. So but use those opportunities, as Gary said. Do we have any other amateurs who would like to take advantage of the open mic? Please call W8AL.
Mike Bravo, Oscar.
Okay, Fred, you are number 2. Go ahead, sir.
Last week I asked if anybody knew what a thing called a memory tag was. Somebody didn't know. I do want to thank Dale. That's pointing me in the right direction. My son wanted to actually gave me the radio. My son in Seattle. Just coincidentally, following up on the last conversation, his whole family almost got their licenses and students and children. Anyway, he took a memory tag. It turns out it's basically it's a name, whatever you want to call it. So when I set this up in the memory, I'm going to call it CARC. It's really just a name field. So I'm going to clarify this for anyone who was wondering from last week.
Okay, Fred. I was straining myself to hear everything there. I heard someone has come up with a group, a CARC group, and they're trying to publicize it. Is that the gist of it, Fred? Go ahead.
Oh no, a memory tag is a field when I input something in the memory on my handheld radio, and it's the same thing as a name. So I just use an example. I'm going to input CARC for this frequency. Over.
Okay, I got you. Tagging your memory channels with an alpha tag, a name instead of just a numeral. Yeah, I do that myself. Half the time I can't remember, what frequency is what. So I just put it in memory and dial through it, and got club names in there instead. That makes it okay for an old guy like me who can't remember, from one thing to the next. Any other comments on that, Fred, you'd like to add?
I mentioned it was my son in Seattle who figured this out. He's the one that gave me the radio. And I mentioned that he got his whole family, except get their amateur radio license, their kids and his wife. And then he talked my grandson in Wisconsin to getting it. He was 12 years old. So ham radio is not just about an old guy. Over.
Roger on that. Youngest ham I ever come across was a friend's grandchild who at age 7 got his tech license. I'm sure there are younger examples, but this was sort of an eye opener for me. A little 7-year-old, and he was into it really deep. Go ahead.
12-year-old in Wisconsin, his grandson, he talked about getting his extra class. So he's working on it, but I don't know how hard right now. He's certainly not busy with other stuff. Over.
Very well. Okay, well that dovetails with what Gary said. We're always recruiting, whether we realize it or not. And if you got a ham plate on your car and you're doing something you shouldn't be doing on the road, someone might notice and go, "Whoa, it must be one of them stupid radio amateurs, doesn't know how to drive or whatever." So just we're always recruiting. That's important for the livelihood of the hobby. Okay, anyone else who has anything to say for open mic, please call W8AL.
AB8PRK.
You are number 3. Go ahead, sir.
First of all, when I first got on, I realized I was only running 5 watts. I'm up to 25 now. Am I getting into the repeater a little cleaner?
Sounds like at least another S unit. Yeah, the noise level at my location went down.
That I'll enter it into memory at this level then. I've been, when I had my mobile set up in the car, I didn't have the vanity plates on, but I had definitely had the HF ham sticks on the car and the dual band VHF UHF antenna. And I got a few comments from, like the old saying was, it takes one to know one, from other hams. They wanted to know what band the antenna was for and stuff, at least the HF one and stuff like that. But I'll tell you what, I got a lot of comments. Wait, what channel do you hang out on? I didn't even bother with that. Back to you there, Dale. KBPRK.
Thank you, Ted, for that little bit of a real-life story. Okay, any other amateurs who have anything for open mic, please call W8AL.
W8AL, K8AGB.
And Dennis, you are number 4. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, with your permission, I'd like to address Jerry, KG8RRY. First, Jerry, congratulations on your ARRL PR course, and it's important. I hope you participate with the Masson Club as their public relations person or public information officer. Also, Jerry, if you sometime take the time to look at my bio on QRZ.com, you'll see that I not only have a daughter and I have a granddaughter for 3 generations of ham in the family, and so I promote that regularly. And then I tell folks, upon my demise, I know where my radio equipment's going. This is K8AGB.
Thanks for that report, Dennis, and I hope that demise thing is a long, 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 long ways off in the future. So it occurred to me we didn't talk about the HOF event under new business. We'll come back to that briefly. But first, let's get through the open mic and give everyone a chance for the floor. Okay, is there anyone else who has anything for the good of the group? Please call W8AL.
W8AL from N8PW.
In APW, you are number 5. Go ahead, sir.
Just to recap, several things talked about. Number 1, 2 weeks ago, I was in Scenic Vista Park near Lisbon. And Dale, you know where that is. We worked the Ohio QSO party there at one time and brought up the repeater, but I couldn't get anybody to come back to me. So the repeater is doing a fine job. Secondly, gentlemen and ladies, we had Dale and W8VE, Roger and I and several others had a ham radio club at Crenshaw Middle School in Canton here. And I was interviewed at the end of the first year by the lady in charge of the after-school program, break. This lady said she appreciated us fellows sharing this old technology with the kids. I knew that was a Freudian slip. She meant to say, you old fellows shared this technology with the kids. So I asked her, have you ever talked on the radio? She said never. I said, that surprises me. Haven't you got a cell phone? Because there's nothing old about this technology. N8PW.
Yes, I remember that story, Bill. Thank you for telling it to some of the folks who have not heard that before. I was just thinking about Crenshaw the other day, too. It'd be great if we had another school who could do a similar thing, start a ham club in a school. Maybe one of these years, assuming that they have school again. Okay, any other hams have anything for the good of the group and would like to use the open mic? please call W8AL. Okay, hearing nothing. One thing under new business was the two special event deals we're doing this fall. I believe, if I may speak for Bill, planning for the first one is pretty much in the can. You know, he's got operators and stuff lined up. The curveball is from our political leadership. You know, apparently is discouraging, you know, mass gatherings. So I don't know that affects us at all, but we will just have to keep a close eye on the situation and see what the status is. As far as contacting the organizers, for square footage near the events coming in September, that would be the 100th anniversary. That has not been done. I think right now their plates are extremely full. They're trying to come up with alternate plans and stuff, and for us to ask for a specific location or some favor of them at this point, when they don't even know what they're going to end up doing, might be a little premature. Break. But rest assured, the club's intent, if I read the membership correctly, is to participate in both of these events. Whether they reach the level that the organizers hope they do, we're still going to be there doing our thing. Any other comments on the two football HOF related events coming up? Go ahead. Alrighty, well, about the only thing I have for a program is to talk about field day. Just before the meeting, I did the email blast thing again with the latest and greatest of the plans and the duties and the sign-up roster, all that sort of stuff. There was another mailing went out that had all the safety officer duties. So if you have a chance, you could look at that, look at those documents, and break. I'd received some corrections and additions from Justin on the last go-around. We'll take anything else for this go-around. Hopefully fill in what few blanks have yet to be filled in for duties. Then we can all meet the Friday before. I guess that's 1 week from this Friday down at Dearman's Farm. Are there any discussions, questions, comments, whatevers about the upcoming field day? Please call W8AL.
W8JKC.
Justin, go ahead, sir.
Dale, you said earlier that we couldn't have our regular meetings after you talked to the EMA. Did they give any guidance as far as our equipment?
You mean as far as picking it up? It is permissible. I was in there actually for a full day Saturday doing some work. So getting access is entirely permissible. I know probably you had volunteered, Justin, to help move some of the stuff. So give me a day next week. We'll get down there. We'll pull the radio, go in the closet, get anything that we need for the activities. All we have to do is let the officials down there know that we're coming. Over.
All right. Whatever day works best for you.
Very well. Okay, we'll set a time off of the net here. No need to bore everybody else with that. Okay, do we have any other discussion, questions, comments, concerns? concerns about Field Day, which is rapidly approaching, please call W8AL.
W8AL, K8AGB.
Go ahead, Dennis.
Okay, when you and Justin come up with a time, let me know, because I want to pick up the threefold display that Bill Hannon has left us use over the years. We're still going to have a public display at Field Day, and that's important. I'm also so if I can rendezvous with you guys the same time, we can unlock the door once and do it all at one time. Over.
Glad to do that, Dennis. We'll include you in the pickup plans, and yeah, we will make sure you have everything you need. There was one item that we could get some bonus points for, but I can't figure out how to do it, and that's the educational activity. You know, if we're not really encouraging the general public to come out there, if we could come up with some sort of an educational activity that could be delivered either on a video conference or maybe on our website or over the air, or thinking if there's some way we could do what the Quarter Century Club did, Greg.
Well, I'll tell you, Dale, if Linda comes to Field Day, I'm going to bring what I used last year, the training display that I used last year, and I can share that with Linda. Over.
Or over the web or some other non-face-to-face means. If we don't do anything, that's fine, but that's 100 points on the table. I hate to leave it there. Over.
Okay, Dale, I got all excited. I still have the training material that I used last year to be recycled, and if Linda comes, or any new hams, or any non-technical hams, I'm ready to do a hands-on training, and I'll wear my rubber gloves and wear my mask, and it'll be a success. Over.
Very good. It occurred to me we've got a whole bunch of soldering irons and stuff that we were donated by the fellow in Louisville. Was teaching how to solder, do you think that would fall under the acceptability range of what we could teach, and then hand the student a little soldering pencil when they're all done?
This is K8AGB. Sure, that would be fine. Have some in a little basket, and if we get we can teach Linda how to, and maybe Carly. I plan to have Carly with me, so we can show these ladies how to solder.
Very good. Didn't want to take over the activity that you had planned, but just the more the merrier is where I'm coming from. Glad you have something covered to cover us there, Dennis. That's very much appreciated. Okay, any other calls from any other amateurs who would like to discuss Field Day? Over.
MNT.
Go ahead, Tom.
I'm willing to sit there and, after looking over what you had there on the sheet, I'd be willing to sit there and help check in and check out the individuals coming and going, as far as that goes, and keeping a log of them and having them initial them and as they come and go, that type of thing. So if you need someone to do that, I'll volunteer for it. Over.
Thanks, Tom. That's going to be a very important part of the activity this year, is knowing how many people are on site at any one time, so we don't exceed any limitations that might be imposed. So that involves checking people in and checking people out, even if it's just a temporary leave. So I'm sure Dennis, who traditionally has done some of that stuff with Perry. Speaking for Dennis, I'm sure the more help, the merrier. Over.
This is W8AL, Roger.
Roger. I thought you fell asleep, sir. Har. Go ahead, sir. You have the floor.
Yeah, I was just putting new batteries in my HT. That's why I was off. Hey, Dale, you did a very nice job of the papers you sent out last week with PDF. And I think it'd be a good idea to, it's under task to accomplish, just for all of us kind of know list by list what we need and what we don't need. Back to you, Dale.
Very well. Thank you, Roger. Yes, and if traditionally, we've had some responsibilities that have always fallen on the same shoulders, and I'm not griping or anything like that, but we're all here to help each other. If John, if there's something you need for your setup that you don't have, or Justin, something you need, just put it out there, and the rest of us will do our best, I'm sure, to help the club have a successful field day. Break. Okay, the filters was one unresolved thing. I have reached out to Scott Duncan and asked about the use of the Dune Stars. The way I put it was, may we use your Dune Stars. If they work out for us on field day, we would like to obtain them. We would like to purchase them. So think about a price. And I'm sure Scott he's on his boat or in his cabin right now. Have not heard anything back. Over.
Yeah, I know Scott's wife's got some health problems, so we have to keep up with him on that. But I see an awful lot of the task to accomplish. I see an awful lot of question marks. It'd be kind of good for us to find out, are those still question marks, or is somebody going to step up? Back to you. This is W8AL.
Yeah, there were probably on the sheet you got. I think we're down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're just down to 6 things. And Jerry, I know you're on. One of the unknowns was if Jerry was going to give us a tent or something to hold K8ISS and the 8020 station. Jerry, you still with us? Hearing nothing. Yeah, that was one of the unknowns, and I'm pretty sure Jerry was going to do that, but I just need to hear from him. Yeah, we're just down to six little things that need names associated with them, and then there's always the unknowns. What did we forget? Well, that always happens, but somehow we always make it work anyways. Over.
Yes, this is Roger, W8AL. Yeah, I called Jerry. Jerry has to get up early in the morning. He checked in, but he might be going to bed by now. He works early hours up at Akron Hospital. And Jerry is going to provide the tent. I think I texted you and on that.
All right, great. That's wonderful. Okay, so the list of 6 items is now standing at 5, and again, everyone just take a look at where we stand on the duties. I think that we're very, very close to having it all nailed down, but like I said, stay on our toes for the unknowns. This is going to be a field day like no other. And if I may ask Bill, if you have solidified your plans and if you'd care to share them with the rest of the group. Go ahead.
W8AL, this is N8PW. No, I haven't solidified my plans. I do know that Camp McKinley and the Boy Scout camps are closed for the coronavirus. And I want to warn everybody to stand 6 feet away from your radio because I'm not wearing a mask. So I'm looking at alternate sites in which to set my QRP station up. And I have several invitations to attend other field days if I don't do that. But right now my plans are up in the air, N8PW.
All right, thank you, Bill. And yes, we will, when we hear your call sign come on, we will take 2 steps backwards. How's that? All right. Any other comments, questions about field day or anything for the good of the group? Go ahead.
K8ISS. This is to John, K8ISS, and I did leave a note for John and a text. John, if you're still there, did you furnish the table last year for the 80-20 test? Over.
This is K8ISS. That's a negative. I have a table just like that one. I was going to bring it. In fact, I had it in the car, but Jerry brought one with the tent. And I have a couple questions too here. Go ahead.
Yeah, you doubled, John. You had something. Why don't you go first?
I talked to Jerry on the phone, and I didn't get a kind of an answer. It's been a year. And, I'll get with Jerry. Jerry thought it was this weekend, and I got to email Jerry. It's not the 3rd weekend, it's the 4th weekend. It's next weekend. Break. And before John gets to his, what are the 5 things that are missing, Dale? What are the 5 open areas? Over.
Alrighty. A new position this year is a biological safety officer. I will be the primary. We need an alternate or a secondary for those times when I have to leave the site. Number 1. Number 2, the VHF-UHF station. I'm going to bring a vehicle with a 35-foot mast, but might need a VHF-UHF radio to use with it. Something that can do 6 meters primarily, maybe 2 meters. Other thing, we need somebody to copy the ARRL field day message. Break. Okay, copy the field day message. We also need somebody, this is optional, to originate a message to ARRL section manager Scott. Not sure we always did that or not, but if we do it, it's worth a few points to originate that message. And the last item, and I think Dennis already addressed it, is set up and run an educational activity, whether it be on the air or with a limited number of face-to-face people. So that is Dennis. So we'll scratch that one off. That leaves us 4 items. Over.
Yes, it's W8BE. I'm just looking. You do have somebody to move the large ice chest from the EOC out to the Dearman Farm. Over.
Roger. Justin and myself. We've got a few items at the EOC building. We've got a few other items in storage down off of Full Road there. I figure we'll do all that stuff the same day, and we will get the stuff to the Dearman Farm. So that is handled. Over.
Casey.
Great. Just a note of caution. You and Justin are doing an awful lot of work, and if you need help, let us know. And yeah, just don't overburden yourself, Dale, and you too, Justin. Great.
Oh, very well. And Justin, he threw his call sign out. Go ahead, sir, Justin.
Sure you are. Justin, do you need, I noticed on Dale's notes that we didn't think the Drake outboard tuner was required this year. Just being using G5 RVs for many times, I've always had to use an outboard tuner on that. Justin, did you use the Drake outboard tuner last year, or was the 7300 capable of loading up the G5 RV on the various bands?
Okay, Roger. I think you're looking at last week's list. There was an updated copy sent right around 6:30 or so tonight. We had the Drake there, but I was using my vertical Hustler last year, remember? So we can't pull the Drake from the EOC because it has to stay with the 706 to keep a fully functional HF at the EOC.
Okay. Maybe I'm thinking of the year before, Justin. Didn't you hang a G5 RV up a couple of years ago? Over?
We've always used dipoles in the past. Last year was kind of an odd year. I decided to haul the Hustler out there and try it out.
Okay, well, you know, Justin, I do have an outboard tuner here if it's required, you know. Just in my experience in field day, the horizontal antennas work much better than the verticals, the high angle radiation required on the eastern half. Yeah, we want to make sure that we get with Scott on get these Dune Star filters, the switching arrangement. I'd have to get Bill's help on that. There's no use having the filters here if we don't know how to operate them. Back to you, Justin.
Hey, Roger.
Justin, did you have any other commentary?
Double with you there for a second, Dale. Roger, I don't think it would be a bad idea to have a spare tuner or whatever on hand, just in case. And as far as the Dune Star, I do have the user manual for them, so we can make a cable or switch box or whatever.
Great, Justin. Great. I just want to appreciate that. I just want to make sure that, you know, we don't get there and the filters show up and we're sitting there scratching our heads. It'd be nice to, I'll see if I can get a hold of Scott to get these filters a week ahead of time so we could, you know, John could hook them up over there and you would too, just to make sure that we're all copacetic. One last thing, Break. And this is the most important thing. It's not on the list. We still need operators. Justin is human. He's going to be doing a lot of things. So we need operators on single sideband and phone. And single sideband and CW. So currently we have operators for CW. I don't know how many we have for a single sideband station. Back to you. W8AL, over.
Dale here. Yeah, the operator thing, I thought about that, and you know, sometimes we have a rigid grid that shows hours of the day, who's doing what, and all that stuff. Well, we have two station captains. You know, maybe we let the station captains work out who's going to be the operators by whatever arrangements they want to make. You know, traditionally, John and Roger have done the 80-20, big chunks of the day, over. To say break, sorry. And then I would jump in there sometime around 10, 11 o'clock at night, and carry it till sunrise the next morning. No problem here, you know. Call me a fill-in guy. I'm not a captain of any station except the GOTA, and there's probably not going to be any GOTA people in the wee hours of the morning. So I will fill in at those hours anytime that's needed. Over. Station calling, go ahead.
KFHUN.
Okay, Byron, did we get you on check? No, we did not, but we do have you now. Go ahead, Byron. Hey, Byron, heard you check in. We're just discussing some of the last-minute field day plans, and I know you told me earlier you would be available to do some of the VHF work, 6-meter work, whatever. I hope that's still the case, and I believe you said on Sunday. Has that situation changed, Byron?
With COVID, I'll be glad to do it on Saturday as well, and fill in CW if somebody needs it at some point or other.
Very well. Well, I will say that the VHF station will be at your disposal, you know, Saturday and Sunday. Same setup as last year. We were looking for a rig. Yeah, we need a rig to work the mast and the antenna. And at this point, I don't have my finger on anything.
Need a radio?
Roger, Roger. Something can do 6-meter sideband and maybe 2-meter sideband.
7,000 to operate the VHF.
Okay, very good. Well, I can take that one off the list. Setup time is Friday evening. However, putting that truck and its mast up is something we can do Saturday in the morning or Saturday around lunchtime even. Doesn't take any time at all to get that rig up. So I will put down Byron as the person who will bring a rig for the VHF UHF station.
Assume if you want 2 meters, so you have the antenna for it.
Roger, Roger. We've got a 3-element Yagi for 6, and I think it's a 5-element Yagi for 2, and a 6-element Yagi for 440, which don't even know if we'll mess with that.
What time would you want me there Saturday morning?
Well, just screw in the connector onto your rig and plug it in. You know, there'll be 120 volts AC for you. Shouldn't take that much time. I know the truck with the mast will be there certainly by noon, and it'll be ready by the time, you know, the bell rings and we start the whole deal. Over.
There, maybe 11-ish. That sounds appropriate.
Very well. I'm guessing roll call will be, you know, Friday. Most of us, we work Friday. We get in after work. We're down at Dearman setting up. And then the next day, Saturday, we're at the farm, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at the latest. You know, we're putting our stuff together. Then when the bell rings, you know, that's when it all starts.
Friday?
Negative. Friday will be after work. Say, you know, 6 o'clock. People will show up. One thing we will not be doing because of restrictions is ordering that big party pizza thing. Club may get some other alternative snacks for Friday night and the rest of the weekend, but unfortunately, we cannot do the big pizza thing this year.
Need more help Friday night.
We'll take it if you got it. That's always a challenge to get the antennas up in the trees. And Roger Stevens spoke with him. He is not physically going to be able to help us. I don't, with any antenna launching this year.
I'll try to be there then. Thanks, KFHUN.
Okay, appreciate it, Byron. Any other comments, discussions, concerns about field day before we wrap it up?
K8ISS.
Yes, sir, John.
Okay, couple items. Last year, and I think the year before too, we had a lot of trouble launching the antennas into the trees, and we just used it as an inverted V, and it worked just fine. And I don't see any real need to bring the bow and arrow and all that. The one tree, you just can't get a good shot at it because of the road and the power lines, and the other tree isn't so much of a problem, but we've just tied it off to the fence down there, and it worked out great because the antenna terminates long before it gets to the fence, and it's still way up in the air because it's gone downhill there. Okay, my other question was on the check-ins and out. When you check in to the field day site, what does that involve? Is there any health concerns there, like taking temperature, or or just make sure you got your mask and so forth? Go ahead.
Good question. I've been trying to model that after what everybody else is doing, and it varies. Some places you step into, there's 3 or 4 questions, have you traveled, that sort of thing, are you sick, are you, whatever. But the forehead temperature is always one of the items. So I think we probably ought to, to do what everybody else is doing. At minimum, the forehead temperature, and just a quick question. How do you feel? Or do you feel ill or anything? And encourage temperature thing is probably necessary. So, over.
Okay, Dale. Does the club have one of those forehead temperature things? And they're easy to use and so forth, but do you know what the temperature limitations and so forth are? Maybe we need a nurse there.
Well, that's a good question. I've got one of those gauges that you point and shoot, but it's an industrial thing, and they look a little bit different than the medical ones. Let me research that. I don't want to get into, everyone has to suck on a thermometer or worse. So we'll come up with something. Actually, there are disposable things that have some sort of a liquid crystal in them. You just hold them on your skin for 2 minutes and then look at them, and, they suffice. That may be what we go with. And as far as the masks go, we're going to go with whatever people recommend. Today I was in a hospital. All this week I've been in health facilities for work-related stuff. And, the masks are sort of mandatory. Break.
TVPRK.
We'll get back to you, Ted. The masks and the distancing are pretty important. But when you're working on the radio by yourself, and nobody else in the town, or maybe the logger is a good 6 foot away from you, I'm not so sure a mask is mandatory there. Okay, Ted, go ahead.
Dale, I've got one of those infrared thermometers, or as some people call them, non-contact thermometers. I got a Fluky, and it was a little expensive when I bought it about 8 years ago. I use it to check breakers and stuff, but in the specs on it, it calls for at room temperature, you know, it's got a pretty wide temperature coverage, you know, up to over 1,000 degrees and down to minus 50. And around the room temperature portion of the spectrum, in its temperature range there, it's got an accuracy of about 2 degrees plus or minus Fahrenheit. So I don't know if those medical ones do any better than that, but I would imagine most of them out there are probably in that range or probably maybe a little worse.
Okay, well, I will have to look at that since I'm the primary biological safety officer. That's on my shoulders. I believe that the threshold is 100 degrees F. If it's 100 or better, then you don't get into the hospital or whatever they're checking. If the accuracy is plus or minus 2, well, you know, that doesn't seem tight enough to make a critical judgment. But I will find out that info before field day.
Dale, W8AL.
Yes, sir, Roger, go.
You know, Jerry's strictly significant other, Diane, is a nurse. Over.
Well, good point. Maybe a quick query to Jerry. He's not on here now. To see if she has access to one of those devices or knows what's an acceptable measuring device. That would help us out. Good point.
Roger, and also, you know, Jerry works at the hospital too. I think it's Akron City. I get them confused. One more thing. We had two females, Harley and Linda, and I'll tell you what, get them on the Tom's still there and Linda's there. Quickly way to introduce Linda, one, either to Dakota or put her on the single sideband station. Over.
Good point. Certainly they would be welcome. They would fall into that category of, you know, new amateurs, or I'm just guessing here, generally inactive amateurs. Put them on GOTA and they could enjoy that and use that station to their heart's content. All right, another final call. Any comments, questions, concerns about field day? Go ahead, throw it out there. We've been going an hour and 15. Not trying to push anyone off or anything, but let's finish up our business. We'll dismiss, and we'll have one more meeting on Wednesday before field day. Call if you have a question. Go ahead.
Jay Casey.
Okay, Justin, go.
Just a quick comment here. Looking back at the operating times for last year, there were 4 or 5 of us that had several hours, pretty much there the entire time. If anybody is on site and wants to operate, please ask to operate. Don't just sit there and watch. We'll be more than happy to wipe down and give you the mic or whatever.
Good comment, Justin. Yes, the whole point is to get people involved, have fun, get them on the air. You learn by doing, not by watching. So, good point.
HQ.
Yes, sir, Perry. Go right ahead.
HQ. As far as them thermometers, they're electronic ones that you can be at a little ways away. Just wipe the face, wipe the forehead there. My mom has a registered nurse that comes in here and every week, and I was asking her about. She usually has one of them with her, and she said her batteries went dead on them. But she said she got hers at Walmart, and it's, you know, like she talked to, like it was like $10, $20. You can pick one of those up. She said they're relatively cheap, and I said, are they accurate? That's what she uses. So, I just said that's what she said there. I haven't checked that out or anything, but that'd be a cheap way to go.
That is good to know. Thank you, Perry. Yeah, of course they sell thermometers and such at drugstores, so who knows? Maybe they do have non-contact thermometers. It's been so long since I was out shopping for one of those, but I will certainly be out tomorrow, if not before, looking for that very thing. That may solve the problem right there. Thank you, Perry. Any other comments, questions, concerns about field day before we close? Okay, hearing nothing, guess I'll entertain a motion to dismiss, and it needs somebody to second that. Again, there will be another on-air thing, on-air net next Wednesday at 7:30. That will just be 2 days away from our setup day at field day. So I need a motion to dismiss, and then we'll get on our way.
So moved, N8PW.
Second, MNT.
Okay, Bill and Tom, thank you very much. All right, again, consent will be implied by not saying anything. Anyone has any further comments for the good of the group? Speak now or forever hold your peace. All right, good night all. Sorry I can't be on to monitor or anything like that. We now return the repeater to general amateur radio use. Thanks again, everybody, for coming to the club meeting. We will now return the repeater to general amateur use. 73 and good night. This is NXHA. Good night.